Hello, and welcome to the relationship theory. Here we take difficult emotions and we talk them out like they are a regular conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about fear. We're going to be talking about how fear is used as a weapon. But it's the size that does not matter. Okay? Size matters, but not with fear. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Fear can come in all shapes and sizes. Fear can come ugly and it can come beautifully. Fear can come orderly and it can come chaotically. Fear can come with polarity and it can come with neutrality. Fear has its own taste, its own flavor, its own mixtures, its own chemicals, its own additives and elements. It has its own life. Fear is its own thing. And what we do as human beings, not knowing what we're capable of, is take fear and we use it as a weapon against ourselves. Yes, ourselves, not other people. You think you're hurting other people. You think that you're brandishing fear as a weapon against other people because with your eyes you can see that someone else is being affected. No, what you're doing is showing yourself, you're reproducing the effects in yourself. What you're doing is living out your own fantasy from within you. And it's only being expressed. Other people might witness it, but that's the word, it's a witness. Aha! Fear is a weapon. You're using fear against yourself. Thinking that the size matters. Not knowing size has nothing to do with fear. You can be a giant. And a giant can be afraid of you. Well, actually, I said that wrong. What I meant to say was, fear can be a giant and be afraid of you. That's what I meant to say, really. Fear can be as small as an ant, and that'll be the most powerful thing, the most scariest thing that you have ever possibly seen in your life. It can horrify you, it can torture you. I mean, we have arachnophobia for all of that. We have words for fear of insects. We have words for fear of fire. We have words for fear of people. There's so many different types of fears. The trick about fear that often people don't get around to is that the stimuli attached to fear is the exact same all across the board. It's that part that we get to that no one actively acknowledges because you need to actually keep it in mind and not just say it and look away. All fears are the same. They just come with different flavors. And I don't know if you've heard this, but behind your fear, behind the very thing you're afraid of, is your desire. It's actually literally sitting right behind the thing that you're afraid to go through. You can imagine that fear is a closed portal. Where love would be an open portal, fear would be a closed portal. And if you could just open the door, you'd see that love was on the other side of what you're afraid of. But we use it as a weapon instead. And that makes sense. If we're using fear as a weapon, it's got to be something blunt. It's got to be something sharp. It's got to be something that it looks like you can use it, a tool of a kind, right? So it'd be something like a closed fist. This would be fear. This would be love. Just to give you a metaphor, an allegory. Ooh, I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. I have no clue which one that is. But at any rate, fear would be a closed portal and love would be an open portal. And we use these things as weapons. But when you really back up and you look at all of it, it has nothing to do with whether it's a weapon or a giant or a beautiful thing or... Doesn't matter what it is. Nothing. It's not related. It's just not. What it is what you think it is. That's fear number one. That's fear rule number one. What it is what you think it is. What do you think it is the question you ought to be asking yourself. Not why are you afraid of it. What we don't do over here in the relationship theory is validate your fears. You have to actually come with the knowledge and awareness of what it is that you're afraid of, and you talk to me about it, because I need to know what you think about what you're afraid of, not why you're afraid of it. You know why you're afraid of it, but I have my own fears, like I discussed just a few minutes earlier. And so I know why, but I cannot tell you why I'm afraid. I can only tell you what it is I'm afraid of. We can have a discussion about why we are afraid of things in general, because all of it is the very same substance. And that's what I'm really trying to push home here. That's where I'm really trying to go with this. Fear is one substance. It is one substance across the board. There is no difference between what you're afraid of and what I'm afraid of. It's all a single point. And once we catch up to that idea, that fear is just one whole thing, we move beyond the idea and the conversation about what you're afraid of and what I'm afraid of, and oh my God, because this can happen and that can happen, and we can go and so we have to start fractionalizing every bit of our thought process and emotions and feelings, just because we think that there's so many ways our fears can get us, when it's one thing multiplied by the thoughts in our mind. So that's the relationship theory. That's this episode of today. Size matters, but not with fear. Enjoy the rest of your day.